They say with the wings of art and literature, society travels into the unknown realms of truth and beauty. In the storms of chaos and confusion, conflict and dissonance, it becomes the anchor for the society, and rightly so. Every time we meet here, we gather here to celebrate souls soaked in creativity. I can't help but marvel the power a book, a poem, or plain words preserve. And today, well, as promised, is no different. Today we have the privilege of delving into the world of one such empowered soul whose words and voice have consistently inspired us, encouraged us to discover the extraordinary within the ordinary. Yes, it's none other than the esteemed Padma Bhushan Sri B.N. Goswami Sahib. Today, together, we shall embark on a journey to explore his recent masterpiece titled The Indian Cat: Stories, Paintings, Poetry and Proverbs, a treasure trove brimming with remarkable observations, insightful quotations, and remarkable illustrations. So without much ado, dear audience, we begin this lecture by spreading the freshness of flowers. To do so, I request Shri P. Malhotra, Chairman, Chandigarh Lalit Kala Academy, and Madam Seema, Deputy Curator, Government Museum and Art Gallery, to welcome Goswami Sir with the bouquet of flowers. Sir has been a constant beacon of knowledge, of wisdom, always inspiring and encouraging us. And now, dear audience, I will invite Madam Seema, Deputy Curator, Government Museum and Art Gallery, to say a few words on the occasion to tell us a little about the event and its significance.
Professor Goswami's book starts with a startling revelation. Quote, unquote, strictly speaking, I'm not a cat lover. Dear sir, in the age of social media, when light has dethroned love, the invite for your presentation on the Indian cat posted on our Instagram has drawn in more likes than any other. While dogs have always been favored over cats as pets in Indian homes, the ubiquitous presence of cats in our daily lives cannot be denied. She's just around everywhere. She could be lurking in some corner or sitting on the wall, gazing like a monk. She would be crossing the road or could have found her way inside our kitchen. I remember in our college days, an all-girls institution, among popular words used were catty and catwalk. I would now like to welcome Professor Goswami, who will walk us through the world of Indian cat through stories.
I hope I can be heard in the chat. I'm not asking whether I'm intelligible, just audible. I hope so. I saw it. हमारे शास्त्रों में लिखा है कि कोई भी प्रेजेंटेशन करने से पहले दूसरे विश्वास एक्सपेरिमेंट इंतजार से उसके बाद ऑडियंस और ये जो नमस्कार I'm very grateful that you are here. I'm grateful to the Chandigarh Museum, grateful to the Universal Academy, personally to Seema and to Dean, that I have been brought this opportunity. May I ask a rude question, slightly rude, not excessively useful. How many of you have the pet quest brought to winner? 6 or 7. Practically nobody. So my grandson said, किसी ने लिखा था सिटी सदर वही है न सना मेरी न बाबा मेरी डोरी है सिटी न ढोंगे न सना मेरी न पापा मेरी मुझे है सिटी न ढोंगे न किसी का उसने ख्याल ही नहीं आया तेरा कुछ वजूद वाला neither the charities mine nor the present volunteer life. And then somebody stick back up, you people agitation. And I had it exist nor do I itu. So obviously, in this glittering audience, we had such the fact exists out there, but this is essentially an extract. We're aware of it. He knows something about this. He talked of occasionally it comes into our tears with frown, see if there's something measurable and disappear. It is not that far of our awareness. My submission is, and we should look at the depths or depth or taste life, because there is an idea. The same thing an idea in our mind. And my wallet Anderson writing with book and in this new and we order that a time lesson. But then it's good for energy. It's what she is. All the time sound like serious. But we refer to that only as a CED. Right? We can't realize and discern the ability to be. You call it by name the affection, audible memory, what you call the appreciate, most like that. Was ever really during the fair? I think it was. But that take you to a few facts which may not be present to apply. When was the past domesticated? That we were in like the big cats, fighters and cheetahs and so on and so forth. But when was domestic with, we know that. I started thinking about the cat and I thought about it. The cat was domesticated in meeting of the first time. In Egypt, there were 7 pyramids and rain. And the family was the boss. All the grain which had been stored was eaten away by mice, the words. There's a gateway on whole cultivation getting decimated because the stocks of the rains are being decimated. And somebody had the great idea that the natural enemy of Europe is a cat. Let's say we can investigate it. And they did. This is some 4,000 years before Christ. Long time. And the introduction of the cat and domestication of it resulted in a whole population of Egypt being saved. So, the cat was deified, turned into a goddess. There's a goddess by the name of Bastet in Egypt. Large statues of which are there have been discovered and are revered. She is a goddess. Another goddess by the name of Mephitet, also of the earth. So, we go back a very, very long time in history. Then we talk about the cat becoming a part of our homes, our lives, maybe our minds, who knows. But the cat had an uneasy time because the Jews did not like cat. In the Hebrew tradition, the cat essentially is a satanic appearance. Satan is behind it. Because you can't catch a cat. The cat is very willful, she can do anything that she likes. In the French tradition, however, the cat is essentially a philosopher's companion. So, a philosopher, Sufi, sitting, and a cat by his side. Who knows what the philosopher is writing or thinking of? बकरा हूँ जुनूं में क्या क्या कुछ कोई समझे न खुदा करे. But a cat is listening according to these people. The philosopher as the cat as an animal by his side. So what's my point? I'm not here to go through the entire history of the cat in but something happened in the medieval times, and that is when the Pope Gregory, 13th century, declared all cats must be killed at sight. It's not an ordinary statement. It was a papal bull which had to be obeyed. And the story very often is that if the cat had not been killed in such large numbers, the Great Plague may not have taken place. Because the plague essentially grew up from its himself. So what do I say? It's dull perhaps, whatever, but we have to establish the cat in the Indian context. The earliest reference to the cat in India, in literature, is in Buddhist literature. It is the Jatakas, the stories of the previous births of the Buddha, in which the cat figures for the first time. And always somebody not positively seeing but negatives. The Bodhisattva goes in the process of becoming a Buddha. The Bodhisattva says, I saved so-and-so from a cat, I saved so-and-so from a cat, and so on, so on. And the Bodhisattva essentially is hinting at this, that the cat can be deceptive, essentially no such work really as good to read, let us say, one proverb that people is met by a and the cat is already consumed, and I have it mice or rats, and then I said, now I've tried the holy, I'm going to Banaras or wherever and so on, and I'm not going to do anything wrong for you. However, what happens, because of the interest in the stories that we have through the Jatakas, literature goes up and down. There's a famous text called the Panchatantra, which is dateable anywhere you like, in which the story is told by a great Pandit called Vishnu Sharma. And Vishnu Sharma is given the charge by a king to teach my children. And Vishnu Sharma tells stories, lessons of life in the form of very attractive stories. The Panchatantra became a text which caught like wildfire. 200 languages is what the Panchatantra was translated into across the world. From Java to Iceland, as it is said, everywhere. The Panchatantra is in Sanskrit. The Arabs came to India, and the Arabs picked up the idea of this great text. They translated it, adumbrated it, they built upon it, and the two famous texts came into being at that particular time. One under the name of Kalila and the other in the name of Anwar-e-Suheli. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, not only translations, but transmutations. These extraordinary texts in Persian and Arabic were taken directly from Sanskrit Panchatantra. So where are we? Why are we talking about the cat? When I started looking at the cat as an art historian, honest to God art historian, I said we must find cats in pictures, in paintings, And when I started looking, in my awareness, when I started looking, I would have said not more than 5 or 4 paintings came in. But when I started looking closely, I turned up as many as 58 of them. All of them are in this little book. Not well printed, but it is recognizable as pictures. And why am I starting with this particular slide? You must be wondering, am I posing you a puzzle? Am I here to ask questions? Yes and no. I show this because this is very often how I start with my lectures on Indian painting. It has nothing to do unless you've been caught in the wiles of this particular young lady who's a cat-like and so. Next one. You are familiar with these pictures. Again, you've seen them maybe 10 times, 20 times, either through me or in the books. But I'm not talking about them, not at all. But this is where I'm going to lead. What is it that we are looking at? It is a piece of modern calligraphy by a Syrian artist. And however much you try, you can't make sense of it. You just cannot. If you know the Persian script, maybe you can recognize a jim or a dal or an alif or a. But the moment you start putting them together, you lose. You are completely at sea. So the picture I'm going to share with you have cats, but you and I have to look for them. You and I have to interpret why is this cat here? And what is she doing? What is actually she thinking at this particular time? There is a series of paintings which is called Swapna Darshan, which means if you dream at night of this particular image or animal or person, this is what your days would turn out to be like. Now, of the Swapna Darshan, which is a well-known text, not one but very versions of it, specifically, it says at the very top, if you game of cats, then all the work that you are doing when you go kaput, nothing will fructify. And it says it belongs to the category of anishta. Anishta means not ishta, not wanted. So it is inauspicious. It's the only folios that I've seen in all of Indian painting where 4 cats are shown and they described essentially as anishta, unwelcome, inauspicious. In a book of animals produced in Mysore in the 19th century, the cats figure again. And you see them 1, 2, 3, 4, all different colors, different types. So we don't pay too much attention to this. Because the cats are there, there is no puzzle enters. And this painting needs to be looked at with care. Have we mentioned, not in passing, but seriously, ma'am, shall I change my subject or are you? In more painting, there are a fair number of cats. But interestingly, all paintings are copies, those copies which were made of European painting. And when the European painting is introduced, is aware, it is in the awareness of the painter, then the painter must have played around with the original and come up with some animal, some object some detail which was not in the original, but he introduces it. There is a famous European word which goes by the name of Dolores. Dolor means inaction, susti. So this is an image of a man, old man, who's almost unable to move or doesn't move his arms or limbs, but feel that he's seated in a chair, just inert more or less. But without his knowledge, or in fact, with his knowledge, but with his inability to do anything. Because if you look at the shelf at the extreme right, which the old man is facing, a cat has upturned a jug of milk and is helping herself to that. So, what does it mean? It's complete lack of action. It is total inaction, inert. In fact, if you start looking carefully, there is a second cat behind the wing chair of the man who's just lurking, waiting for the doctor perhaps to get to the jug of milk. So this is the immoral painting. The cat sneaks like in real life. But it's a wonderful, wonderful painting. 17th century, and the painter has signed his name on the side of the at the bottom. Again, a movement. Again, a copy of the European painting somewhere. And the Mughal painters had access to, and they played around with it. This is the Madonna. Madonna, Mother of Christ, and she's feeding the child at her breast. Wonderfully done. Probably by the greatest painter in the Jahangiri of the Great period, Basama Bari. The extraordinary detail, those sculptures, that value, that goes at the back, is the spread out carpet, and you look a Botticelli like look in the eyes of the Madonna. When the child is feeding himself at her breast, suddenly a cat appears. If that child can be fed, why can't I feed myself? She sees a little black light down there, runs towards it. Let me also take my share. So there's a playfulness in the whole thing. This is a Sufi saying. Reading from a book, maybe having just written it, could be. But here is a cat by his side, and the cat is chained so that it does not move away. But a great painting again, Mughal, probably a copy of a European original, and there she sits, but she's tired. This man goes on and on, what am I going to do? So she goes off to sleep. Cat's nap, as it is called. Shab-e Barat. Not a copy of a European painting, but a celebration of the festival when you hear truths. Shab-e Barat. And while these women are celebrating, there are two cats, yet you see, between the balustrade of the pair at the bottom, and they are eating. I don't know whether you have heard of the proverb. Dogs have masters, cats have slaves. Cats are served, dogs serve. So one of the cats is saying to the other one, well, we are the mistresses of this particular home. What are we saying? Essentially, that there is a playfulness, there is no philosophy in this. There's playfulness which I think you and I must get used to when it comes to looking at Indian painting, which feature cats. The night has fallen. The princess's beloved are on a great big bed. People have started telling them stories or made music so that they go out to sleep peacefully, no intervention. But who's guarding them? A cat. In the middle of the picture. Almost as if she's carrying a board in her hand, no entry. Right? As a guard, like this. Again, playfulness. Vidama offering prayers to her son, the Jesus, the infant, by Manohar. This is a painting worth seeing closely. It's a royal household. Everyone has clearly been serving, moving about, and it's time to have a short break. But what happens between women of the royal household, you and I can guess, so-and-so meeting so-and-so's in love with so like a whisper. In that, there is a woman seated at extreme right in the middle, and she had a cushion under her knee. And under the cushion, the head of a dark, mendacious looking cat, hardly visible to the naked eye, but there she is. This is again a copy of a Dutch painting by some artist, and a woman is copying. She's making pancakes. And the cat sits at the back, quietly waiting for the occasion. The moment she gets up, she will pounce upon the back cake, even though the boys one of the bag get it. So there is fun. There's fun in this. Like there is fun in proverbs around a cat. Let me ask you a question. There's a saying, Paksho bhi billi, chuha landurai bala. Have you heard it? No. Paksho bhi billi, chuha landurai bala. Meaning what? It's a story behind it. At least the cat tells a story and says, I was following a chuha, and the chuha was very quick, very fast. I only could catch him by the tail. And the tail came in my hand, the mouse ran away. And next morning, with the tail being in her hand, the cat approached the bill, that is the little area in which mice hide or live. And she says, come out, I have something of yours in my hand. And the chuha knows exactly what is it that she has in her hand. So he peeks out and sees the cat at a distance and says, Baksho bhi billi. I'm good without a tail, but thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, and take him. Right? Like that. So there is fun all around 40th day of the birth of child Christ, and they have to go to the temple, and the cat appears. In the original, there's no cat. The European original has no cat at all, but here she appears. Why? My guess is that the movie painters are introducing a cat in what can be called a religious picture, as stating this is not happening in the world up there, it is here and now that we are watching this. The snake has appeared. And one of the maids of the royal household, she has a big screwing rod in her hand and has almost killed the snake at the bottom left. But that cat, I think she's saying to herself, I could have done that. I could have done that. It's all a question of how we look, what point of view we take, how the cat must look and behave in that situation. There is a pet parrot which the cat has, and which Nicholas has parrot. Suddenly, through negligence, the door of the cage in which the parrot was opened. The parrot was about to be forced upon by the cat, and when suddenly she wakes up and shoes are made. Like the most surprising painting that I discovered was from the Ramayana. In the entire Ramayana text, whether it is Valmiki or Tulsidas or Kamban or Krittivas, there's no mention of a cat. And suddenly, when Bharat and Shatrughan return and find that their father is dead, they start crying. And in that scene, the painter introduces two cats in the background. Why? I don't know. I have no idea. Again from the Ramayana. In the Ashok Vatika, Ravana comes visiting Sita, and we see a cat. But this cat is not alive. She's painted on the wall. Like murals in palaces, seen from an ashram. An ashram is a peaceful place where enemies live peacefully together. Sita, Ram, Lakshmana were visiting his siege. Nobody named. But in that ashram, we see natural enemies of each other coming together. In the bottom left, a cat is having a conversation with a mouse. Peaceful, no enmity. The mongoose and the serpent at the extreme right, natural enemies of each other. Nobody is attacking anyone else. In the far distance, an elephant and a tiger, all peacefully in that ashram. This story, of course, you know. Bandarmat, as it is called, two cats find a piece of bread and they can't decide who it belongs to. So they go to a monkey. Please decide for us. And the monkey is far cleverer with the cats and starts weighing the dough. नहीं ये ज़्यादा हो गया इसको थोड़ा तोड़ दिया था and he eats it. And then नहीं ये कम हो गया इसको ऐसे कर. And so slowly the cat's eyes open, see their bread piece disappear. Next book. I'm sorry, this is too small. I can't make you see it. This is from the Anwar Suhaili, very interesting story. A tiger had become very old. His teeth were no longer usable. And since somebody fed him, he would take a little piece of meat and so on, which would stick to his mouth. And finding him unable to move, a cat appeared. And she said, Your Majesty, I have a solution. I have a whole range of cats who will take care of the mice which attack your mouth, and I will rid you of this problem. The story says the tiger was very pleased. And when the mice appeared, then cat and his children, would come and catch hold of the mice, and everything seemed to go well. But the cat was clever. She said, the day all mice are killed, my job will be over. So one day she appears with her child and says to the tiger, I am to go somewhere, I'm leaving this child behind. He will take care of all your needs, take care of the mice. But to tell the child, our own son, do not kill all mice. If you kill them, our jobs are gone. But the child doesn't understand. The next day, he kills one mouse, second mouse, seventh mouse, calls ours. And when the tiger says, it's all over, so dismisses the cat from our job, and so, right. The text is a caution, and this is a painting over which I would like to linger a bit. The story is told in the Mahabharata. Not a story, a passage. Please pay some attention to the details of this. Yudhishthira, the eldest of the Pandavas, goes to grandfather and says, I have a question. Bhishma is the grandfather. I have a question. If I am in a situation where I am surrounded by one enemy after another, how should I behave? What steps can I take? And Bhishma says, I can't give you a direct answer, but I'll tell you a story. That's how it proceeds. The story is like this. There's a great banyan tree in which the cat lived, and at the bottom of it, in a hole, a mouse lived. The mouse is called Palik, the cat is called, I forget now, Lumos. They're natural enemies of each other. Hunter always is looking for catches, and he lays his trap. The cat is very clever. She does not fall into the trap. But that particular day, Bhishma says, she was tempted. And she moved towards the piece of meat and then got caught in that trap. Seeing this, the mouse was very happy. My enemy is in a trap. And just as he was about to move towards the cat to pick up that piece of meat and set up her, suddenly he saw two animals, one owl and one jackal, both enemies of the mouse. And he said, oh, before I go to the cat, I'm going to be eaten up by that meat. So he very cleverly speaks to the cat and says, what can I do? Let's be friends. I'll hide under you. So the cat says, hide under me, what can I do for you? Or what will you do for me in return for this? He said, I'll cut the strings of the trap and you'll be free. The cat thinks and says, but I can't trust. There's a conversation. The mouse is hiding under the belly of the cat. Then what happens is that the hunter is about to arrive. The cat is impatient. Free me, otherwise the hunter will pick me up and take me away. The mouse is clever, and he cuts one string, second string, but not the last string. The cat says, quickly, I'm in danger. The mouse says, I will do it, but at my own time. And they agree. But as soon as the hunter agrees, the last stick will be cut and they will fly away. The cat will go to her own perch, the mouse in his own, and that's how the two save themselves. Next day, the cat calls out to the mouse and says, come out, we were friends yesterday. And the mouse says, thank you very much, I'm done. This is the end of our friendship. Bhishma says, there's no permanent friend, there's no permanent enemy. So you have to mold yourself according to the situation. You can be permanently enemies of each other, you can temporarily be friends and so on. So the answer to your question is, what should I do when I'm surrounded by enemies of all kinds and so on? Then extraordinary painting is an intersection. What we see in the left is a trap. Strings sound like this, and the cat is caught. The mouse at its extreme right, larger than life, right? She's waiting for the occasion. The owl is sitting up there to catch hold of the mouse, and the jackal is waiting for his occasion. It's abstraction at its finest. Real abstraction. No action is taking place, but the painter picking up on the story from the Mahabharata, translated into Yamnari Swahili, that created this extraordinary. So I am drawn to it. I am very drawn to it because there are, elements of thought which not everyone is capable of entertaining. This strange picture. A very strange household couple who have a money. The money is not some sag or something like this. And your mother sees, the wife sees, what have you brought? And he thumbs his nose at her. He says, what do you got to do? Are you pale? What do you want? And they say, and we go up there, shift the scene on the roof. What we've seen, the cat has brought a mouse. Is the Mahdi the cat? Is the mouse that's brought up? We don't know. But look at this painting again. Rasamanjari, late 17th century. There's a Nayaka, there's a beautiful woman who's secretly in love with someone else than her husband or lover. And then in the morning, somebody comes visiting. And she notices some scratches on the cheeks of the beautiful young woman who's the beloved. And while the Nayaka, she's staring, she has to be quick up. Actually, these are scratches left after lovemaking, right? And she quickly cooks up an excuse. He says, no, I'm not going to sleep in that chamber because a cat is there. And we see the cat up there in that chamber and you could sleep there. While the mouse has escaped, mouse has a tail, like that of a whatever. Next up. And so on it goes. I do not want to detain you too long. Either you are lucky, I'm not in the best of health, and I'm cutting short. Cat should be. Look at this here, cat with the sadhus at the bottom. Yes. Brilliantly that though. a cat with kittens feeding at her teeth. These paintings are not all in the same place. Our museum here has one painting with the cat. This is from the Oriental Institute in Russia. There are paintings from the Museum Garden, from the Metropolitan, from the Boston Museum, and so on, that I've been able to connect with some degree of. Cats are associated with prostitutes. Prostitutes have time at their hands, and they keep cats as pets. This woman is a prostitute, Beswa, and by her side of their cat. This man has come to negotiate a price. Who is she? A princess? A prostitute? Is no more, but she's hanging on to her pet. This one, obviously mistress of the ruler of Alban, whose portraits are birds and her cats and the body. But what you painted? A princess, daughter of the last ruler of India, the Muslim people's ruler, Bahadur Shah Zafar. So we're moving towards our own time. So this is a painting by Mahavir Swami Gatauti. And a favorite theme is a cat as a thief. The inner mouth is a piece of metal. In Bengal, there's a goddess very widely worshipped, protectress of children, called Shashti. And she has a cat as a bodyguard. Next, and a contemporary painter of that area called Bhapi Chitrakar. Is this Nayaka or prostitute seeing the cat as a replacement, as a substitute? You and I don't know. And this is a cat I found. I should tell you, I just looking around for interesting cats. Cats as pretenders, cats as Matachali Kashi, Galilagzal, like that. So I located a young designer and painter by the Rijava Karkvichaka from Poland. And she had this design. And I borrowed it from her, and she was very generous, and I must acknowledge my debt to her. She painted this wonderful cat like a sadhavi. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just here. I've given up my wood practices, and so. So what have I been amazing you for nearly 50 minutes? To look at the cat, to see it as both an idea and a reality. In the last section of this book, in fact, if I were you, I would open at the last section. I allow the cat to say whatever she wants to say. So I put a mic in front of her, and she speaks. She says, I've been elected by all cats of the past generations and the present, and I will speak. So she says, let me take one proverb, one saying, one superstition or the other. And there are a whole lot of them. Before that, I don't know whether you are aware, the greatest of the poets of Urdu had poems on cats. Mir Taqi Mir, Asadullah Khan Ghalib, Maulana Muhammad Iqbal, all wrote poems on their cats. which are translated not there. But the sayings are funny. And I mentioned to you, Lakshobi Billi Chuada Durai Bada. So there's so many of them. Billi ke bago, shinka tuta. Meaning what? Shinka is something contraption up from the ceiling in which milk or some cheese and whatever is kept. And Billi has been jumping but not able to reach. But she was lucky. A young boy was playing with a stick, came running from outside. The stick stuck at the chinka, everything fed the cat, fed herself. Billi ka bahar, luckily, chinka tota. Something like that. But there's very funny one from Bhojpuri. And that says, a chuha says to others, a cat, no, she just got to get something, she's my wife. So heavy. I'm going to send a wine when he was put at school. He chose to take Sanskrit as one of his subjects, but was no good at it, not at all. And the last sentence he composed was, Bilium chuo kagarati. He turned into a chemist. Dr. Satvi is something that is friend of mine, a very distinguished chemist. I don't know whether he will turn into chemist after listening to this lecture or do whatever you want to do. But I must thank you before I end for being present here. It is a glittering audience, I can tell you. Not everyone is entitled to it. I think I have been lucky. Thank you.
The audience words when flushed with power and passion. When they inspire, they encourage each one of us to think better, to think deep, to seek something extraordinary, to give voice to mundanity, to let abstractions speak. And I'm sure these powerful words of Professor Goswami sir, has ignited a dialogue within each one of us. We are making thanks, sir, for this wonderful lecture to Ms. Ruby Fiji that can sit with us. So I request all of you to please be seated. Thank you so much, sir, for being there with us. And now I will request Sri Chanofa, second leader of the Academy, to seek the vote.
Professor being Goswami and just a glittering audience petition, very rare of the petition. I can see out of the book. Sir, just to share two things. जैसे हमारा जो माइंड नहीं तरह टैकिंग के बड़े लोग हमेशा में कमेंट आते रहते हैं कि आप तो माइंड बनाते हैं बट स्पेशली ऑन दिस माइंड वी हैव गॉट वेरी गुड कमेंट्स सर क्योंकि वन कांट इमेजिन कि कैट कैन बी द शार्क ये तो सोच भी नहीं सकता कि ऐसे भी हो सकता है सो दिस इज सर दिस आर स्पेशल कमेंट्स टू शेयर विद यू वी हैव गॉट वेरी गुड कमेंट्स ऑन दिस स्टैंड और डिस्पाइट ऑफ ऑल रोड्स and not very well and many ups and downs. Here we will wonderful presenters. So I will get started.
All right, like I was saying, after this soul enriching experience, I will now invite all of you for a warm cup of tea where conversations can flourish, right? Thank you.